Hello, and welcome to Fish Wrap TV, episode 11. Today is Friday, April 2nd, 2021. I'm your host, Janie Hansen, and I'm here with Q Lair in Blue Earth, Minnesota. On this Good Friday episode, we'll be discussing the USDA progress report and grain stocks report, wheat breaking dormancy, the farm CFO hedging update on corn and soybeans, and finally, the latest blast wave coming off the bond markets. This week's market update is brought to you by Croptimize. Croptimize combining real-time analytics, deep market expertise, and AI to take the emotions out of grain marketing and help farmers make decisions like a pro. Check them out on the web or in the Apple App Store. Thank you, Croptimize. All right, Q. In news this week, 2 USDA reports came out on Wednesday. The big surprise was beans. Tell us more.
Absolutely. We had the prospective plantings and the grain stocks come out the 31st, and they were absolutely devastating surprises on the upside. And of course, downside on the acreage. The beans, the big surprise at 87.6 million acres when we were looking for anywhere from 90 to 92.
Oh, okay.
So they tacked that thing up the limit immediately. And then, of course, corn acres came out at 91.9. We were looking for 92 to 94. They tacked corn up the limit too. And of course, drug wheat with it. So we had beans up 70 cents within a second. And the funny thing is that the charts look horrible last week, and they looked horrible going into this report. But yet, I mean, they turned on a dime and just rocketed 70 cents in no time. Also, what happened, yesterday they opened 20 higher to get some of the caught shorts out of the way, and then crashed 56 cents. So it was a brutal day and brutal 2 days in the bean market. So it's a good thing we had an extra day to relax after that. So
recover after that.
And of course, the corn did relatively the same thing. Corn is much more steady, of course, than beans and wheat, but they still tacked it up the limit. It's been about 3, 4, 5 years since I've seen corn tacked like that. And of course, it's been a long time since I've seen beans tacked like that. So probably 2013. Last time I saw beans doing like that. So anyway, the big news, of course, was July-November bean spread yesterday had a 28-cent range. And they just absolutely took everybody out to the woodshed. And, it's usually a spread that trades, 20, 30, 40 cents in a year. They trade 28 cents in like 2 hours.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. So it was brutal. And of course, we had a 56 cent break in the board, and 28 cents of that was on the spread.
Okay.
So anyway, corn and beans are still relatively stiff. They're not as high as they were, 2 days ago, which seems like an eternity when you get markets working like this. But it was really something to behold. But from the grain stocks report, we continue to chew into the carryouts, but those numbers were relatively expected by the pit. So the big thing was the 87.6 in the beans, which, to be honest, I do not believe. Yeah. I really don't believe it. I'm hearing rumors from the seed companies that they've sold enough for 91 million acres, maybe a bit more. And there's just no way anybody's sitting on 3 or 4 million acres of soybean seed. Yeah. Especially with $12, $13 on the board. No way. So anyway, thanks for all of my people out here who, when I said I'd bet $10 on 94 and 92, nobody took me up on it. So I'm buying tonight at the bar.
All right. Get a glass of Malbec.
You betcha.
So how about 22, 23, 24?
Well, we got the bean board is starting to tighten up, but rallying. Okay. And what happened is when the July no went like this, what's happening is the backboards are starting to get some lift. Okay. And then people are starting to say, okay, I'm going to sell my July that I made, July no that I got some money on, and buy November, or buy in backs. Okay. So we're seeing the board kind of, split back like this. Quick take on 2, 3, and 4. 22 is 1133. So it's right in range now for us to take a serious look. 23 is 1067. And 24 is 1061. Wow. So 3 and 4 are still relatively flat to each other on a spread basis. And also in the corn pit, 484 nearby, which is pretty solid. 447 for 2022. So definitely into view. 417, 414 on the outs, on the outboards. So it gets 430. We'll put them on the view kind of calendar. and then we'll see if they can run to 455, which is our magic number, and if not, we'll start laying into it.
Yeah. So I know I'm a bit biased on the corn and soybeans of what I pay attention to, but tell me some more about wheat.
Well, wheat's coming out of dormancy. We're literally days away from first cutting in South Texas. The boards are starting to tighten up. July wheat, Chicago 610, 572 in Kansas City. This spread was like 90 to $1 under about 6-7 months ago. So,
wow.
The markets are smelling out that we got some red wheat acres coming, and it's broken about 40-50 cents in the last 3-4 weeks, which means that they're smelling the harvest coming, and business has been relatively steady. Nobody's really reaching. If anybody's reaching, it's for soybeans for the oil crush.
Okay.
And spring wheat 618. Finally spring wheat is above Chicago. So I guess what I said a couple of weeks ago, that we're going to go with the whole crop here with red wheat over both, but that's not the case anymore. So spring wheat overtook red wheat this week. So we're beginning to rebalance the wheat markets, Chicago, Kansas City, and Minneapolis.
Okay. So the markets, as you said, were wild with that report. So what does this mean for the hedging situation? Well,
the hedging situation is that from what I see, we've got, the drought is really not any kind of a problem. If you've got your insurance on, and if you're in the I states or one of the close around the I states, like we are here in Minnesota, you are going to be able to have what I would consider to be a solid corn crop. So you've got to be looking at these prices.
Yeah.
And if Brazil, if these numbers start coming out, then we are going to have a situation where there's just going to be no bid. And the other thing is that there's something going on in Ukraine with Russia again. So, it's only taken about 4 weeks since, Biden put his hand on the Bible, and, Russia is already massing troops on eastern Ukraine. So you remember what happened last time. So, everybody's got to be, very, very careful right here, especially with the geopolitics.
Yeah. Well, I was getting a little antsy and seeing some of these prices on the 2022, 23, and 24 in beans, and starting to look at corn. And, I was thinking about putting some out earlier this week, but then you reminded me to never trade into a report.
That's like one of the top 5 cardinal rules of trading. And you learn that early, because I didn't do it once, and it cost me like $35,000. Because I thought I was dead right. I was going to be a hero. Went into a crop production report. I was dead wrong, and they just woodshedded me.
So you just, take a beat, see what happens.
Yeah. And, well, the thing is, the key to being a successful trader is surviving your mistakes. And, any mistake I made was I could survive it. Had a couple close calls.
Yeah.
I mean, they almost toe tagged me a couple times, but still survived it.
Just seeing God.
Yes, just saw God. I didn't get toe tagged.
Live to fight another day.
Yes.
So, but I got to notice that margins are going up on Monday for corn and beans.
Yeah. Well, anytime you got to set 70 and 50 cent ranges in the day, they're going to have to make you pay for the risk and find out if you really got it. I mean, if you really want to, you got to pay up to own this stuff. And long story short, at the beginning, back in May. So we're coming up about 12 months ago. The margins were about $1,750 for beans. Now they're up, over 3,000.
Yeah,
so
it's
they
really
keep
jumped.
going. And the thing is that this keeps going. They're going to go even higher.
So for the rookie traders, they raise the margins when the volatility goes up.
Yep.
Is that the indicator?
Yep. So it's like, if you think about, if you look at the high low of the day, we call that range. And then if that range starts to get bigger, we call that range expansion.
Okay.
And when range starts to expand, we know there's going to be margins increases, which means that the clearing corp is going to make sure you got it to be playing this game, because they're taking no prisoners in these beans and bean spreads, period.
Yeah. So it's helpful, talking with you about how to plan ahead for this to make sure I had that line of credit and stuff for my margin.
Exactly.
So, and speaking of margins, what about any further repercussions from the bond debacle a few weeks back?
Oh, we had the big one today. It was Monday, of course, but over the weekend, the guy who runs Tiger International, his name's Wang, got a $20 billion margin call.
Ouch.
And as the onion begins to peel about what is really going on here, this is going to be as big as the Big Short.
Yeah. So they're
what's
like
going
the big
on
long.
here. Yeah, I call it the big long. And I got a few, tickles, on Twitter about that one. But this guy had a $50 billion line of credit with Goldman Sachs, apparently. And that's not including what he had at Morgan Stanley and everything else, and,
Oh, wow.
and JP Morgan. And he got a $20 billion with a B dollar margin call. Now, the thing is, I've been around this game a long, long time. And I remember when KKR, the buyout guys,
Yep.
bought Nabisco for $20 billion, and they thought it was impossible that they were going to do
No,
this.
that's not the trade. It's the margin call.
That's the margin call. So it's like the game is much, much, much bigger.
So, all right. Any other updates from this week?
Outside of everybody's got to watch out what's going on in the Ukraine with Russia again. So here we are again. And that's right in the wheat belt too. So it wouldn't surprise me, but who knows what Putin's up to, and when the cat's away, the mice are going to play over there in the Black Sea. So, but besides that, it's we're going to see what everybody's got next week once the margins go up and the dust settles.
Great. So, well, that's a wrap for this week's Fish Wrap TV. Everybody enjoy the holiday weekend. We're skipping our post-game show today, so our production team can head over to our new neighbors here in town, Average Joe's Bar and Grill. We'll be grabbing a preview of their soon-to-be opening happy hour hotspot here in Blue Earth. Thanks again to our sponsor, Croptimize, and we'll see you next week.